It's okay. Good evening. Testing. In Michigan, we're trying to do testing right now. We're testing successful patients. Welcome to Dragon Eagle TV special program. AEI The program is to promote community engagement and participation. Tonight we're here to kick off AEI Heritage. My name is Grace. With me, Grace Lee. Tonight, our guests are Dr. Anil Kumar and thank you so much. Welcome to our show.
Thank you, Lisa and Grace. It's great to be on Dragon Eagle television. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Celebrating AEI, we are proud to share with us.
My honor.
Grace and I have some question for you today. First, you guys
Certainly, Lisa. So, I was born in India, and I grew up in a city that was called Bombay, and Mumbai later on. And we went to Catholic Jesuit school there, and went to school, and residency. And thereafter, I went to England for 5 years. I did another training of president training. And subsequently, I came to this great country. And Detroit is where I came to. I joined Queen's University as a researcher. And after being a researcher for a couple of years, then I got into a residency in urology. And became a urologist and started to practice in the Rochester area. And of course, I met Anil Kumar, who was a medical student. And so I was playing a little also. And we got married 38 years ago. And it's been great. So that's my beginning, and that's the wonderful journey to America.
right. So let's get forward to Mrs. Kumar.
Yes, well, I don't have that much travel. I'm from Michigan. I grew up in northern Michigan, mid-Michigan, and I'm the oldest of 7 kids. And one of the first to actually finish college, and I went to medical school, and that's where I met him. And he is somebody who's changed my life from the first time I met him. I probably would have gone back up north and been a doctor in a small town there. But that wasn't going to happen with him. He came to Detroit, and for him, that was a small town. So we've been together and doing pretty well.
So how many years?
38 years.
30 years.
Yes,
Wow.
38 years. Yes.
Thank you so much. Okay, Grace.
Dr. Kumar, your achievements are amazing and very inspiring. As an immigrant, I'm sure you have ran into a lot of obstacles and challenges in your journey. So can you share with us a little bit about what kind of challenges you encounter and how did you overcome them?
Grace, you're absolutely right. As an immigrant, there are more challenges than there would be if I were born in America. But as an immigrant also, we have been blessed with the tenacity. We work harder. We work maybe 2 times harder than normal to achieve what we achieve. And you see that in most immigrants from India, China, Nepal, and other places. That is the way we achieve our success.
Okay, thank you. Having run for House Representatives for the 11th District in both 2014 and 2016, and the Wednesday Government Board in 2018, what continues to motivate you to seek public office?
So, the reason I ran for Congress to start with was because of healthcare in America. We spend $4.5 trillion for health, but our patients don't have the money to buy prescription drugs. And having come from India, which was at that time a much poorer country, even our poor people, when they went to the hospitals, they got free medication. So for me, that was not accepted. So I decided the only thing I can do is go to Congress and change it. Now, I did not know anything about politics at that time. And so I just registered myself to run for Congress. And those first 2 races were my learning experiences. And after that, I decided to run for Wayne State Board of Governors because that was my American dream. I came to Wayne State as a researcher. And can I tell you how it's my American dream? I came to Wayne State, they gave me a research position. Then they gave me my immigration status. So they gave me my green card. They signed up for me, I didn't want anybody here. And they gave me my residency, that just gave me my job and my career. And then they gave this wonderful person who was rotating with me, and we married. Actually, in 8 months, we met and married. So thanks to Wayne State, I got a wife too. And then we have 2 boys who also went to Wayne State. And then I went for election for Wayne State Board of Governors. And so now I'm on the board of Wayne State Governors. So basically, I started from the janitor job and now the boss.
So now, we all know you are actually were elected to the Wednesday Board of Governors in 2019. So can you tell us what the role of the board is and what you have accomplished in this 4 years since you joined this board?
It's a great question, Lisa. So the Board of Governors is responsible for the functioning of the university. There are 3 universities in Michigan. University of Michigan, Michigan State, and Penn State University that are state-sponsored universities. And so that is why the Board of Governors, that's the Board of Directors, are elected by the people. So it's a statewide election. And so we oversee the working of the state university. We make the policies of how Wayne State should work. But more importantly, because we are in inner city Detroit, we are also given the task to make sure that the minorities in Detroit City are given the opportunity of becoming doctors, engineers, education. And as a matter of fact, one of the achievements that we have had is that we passed this policy that any family that earns less than $70,000 a year, their kids can go for free to Wayne State University. We have enhanced the minority passing rate, enhance minorities in staff and students, and we are the second best research institute in the country. So there's a lot of things that have been encouraged. Yes. Thank you for bringing that point. And I'll tell you what. So we were instrumental to get the first woman president in 150 years. Yes. And then there was a question of how much she should get, and we got her to pay as much as everybody else was getting. And it was interesting because the newspaper person called me and said, well, she's getting so much money. And I said, yes, others did. And if I give $1 less, that would be discrimination against women. So we do. And provost, we have a provost who's also a woman, and it is improving. These women leaders are working very, very hard, and I'm sure that Wayne State will be a great institute in no time.
Sounds very important role. Grace.
As you mentioned earlier, your campaign prioritizes education and healthcare. So if he elected to Congress, what specific legislative actions will you champion to address these issues?
As I was saying earlier, the amount of money we spend and the patients not receiving their due treatments. The problem in our healthcare system is that most of that money goes to people who are middlemen. So for example, pharmaceuticals. The pharmaceutical big pharma, they charge exorbitant prices because they hire reps, they hire the whole system of setup. They go to the doctor's offices, offer lunches, and so recently one of the companies decided that they will give medications to the patient straight from the manufacturer. So it's a diabetic medicine. The current medicine costs $560 a month. But this company, because it has taken away all the tiers of middle persons, the same medication is sold for $56. So what I would do then is I would say to Medicare, you need to make a formulary of these companies that do that, and then have our Medicare dollars to those companies. Thereby I will reduce the cost to $1. That will allow us to buy medications. The same thing is with Medicare. Medicare has certain amount of money that goes towards that. And so now what they have done is they have distributed it to other companies that are private, like Medicare Advantage, Humana, Blue Cross Blue Shield. And these companies make up to $20 billion a year. If we take away those companies and let Medicare provide service to the patient directly, then we can cover their eyes, dental, and others, and still make a profit. So now that we are able to be instrumental in changing that into making Medicare responsible and frugal for the patient's care. I always say there are lobbyists for everything. There are lobbyists for pharmaceuticals, there are lobbyists for doctors, hospitals. So who is the lobbyist for the patient? So the lobbyist for the patient should be the congressperson. But what happens is that the lobbyists, then the congressperson are beholden to the lobbyists. And even if they don't have the understanding of the complexity of health. So by me being a physician, I can absolutely know the problems and I can have the solution. So that's what I do.
Thank you. I believe there has been trying to resolve the medical medications cost issue.
Yes, they have, but only 10 medications. There are thousands of medications. So that is like a band-aid, it's not really a cure.
Thank you. The next question. The primary elections is on August 6th. The Democratic Party has 6 candidates running to be on the ballot for the November general elections. What people should vote for you, especially against the other front-runners, Carl Moringa, the other one, the other front-runner.
Yes. So I have 5 other opponents, which makes it very nice for me because they will dilute the other votes. Now, I am the most qualified amongst all these because of my knowledge and experience in healthcare, in education. I also have businesses. I run surgical centers and I had run a hospital that we bought. So I know how to make care. I know what it takes to make business done. Not only that, I have also started what is called as a non-for-profit, which is the MLK and Gandhi Institute for Nonviolence. What it will do is it will educate the inner city kids coming out from 3rd grade to see what Gandhi and MLK, all these great people did in their lives. So let the kids from inner city school know that if you are non-violent, you become Barack Obamas, you become MLKs, or if you have violence, then you go on drugs, then you can die at 22 years age. Not only that, mental health is the main issue, the main problem. The causes drug addiction. 100,000 kids die every year because of drug addiction. It's a major problem. So we need to do health care, mental health. Same thing with gun control. It's not the guns don't kill people, it's the mental health of it. And we should have some good legislation to make sure that there are some consequences. So others that are in my race are really not, they have knowledge, but they don't have the experience, they have not worked it. And the other element of the race is how much money do you collect for the race. And collectively, what I have in my flat is more than 2 times their collection. So that also gives me the edge to be competent.
I think plus people do want people from business community or community to run for office, not career politicians, because we all have enough with career politicians. So you have just mentioned that you are on Democratic candidate. There are many people out there like me are not affiliated with a party. So how can you convince those people in the middle to support you?
Lisa, that is a great question. Because fortunately or unfortunately, we have a 2-party system. So I'm always going to be able to pick off 50% of my voters, right? So the important thing for me would be how do I approach the independents? Because there are 30% core Democrats, there are 30% core Republicans, but really what makes the difference are the independents. Now, on a personal basis, I am an independent person. I have Democrat values because I think the people who are less advantaged need to be supported. Thank you. Thank you. And what we need to do therefore is do the right thing for people that we can uplift. At the same time, because I have my business sense, if we do not make enough money and businesses don't prosper, you cannot have money to support people that are less. So I am a very pro-business person. And so I am pretty much a centrist from the Democrat side. My intent is not whether I'm doing something for Democrats or for Republicans. My thing to the person is what is good for the American person. What is good for the person on the street? What is good for the economy of our country? What is good for the value system of the country? That's my centrist attitude that we understand. And jokingly, I say to people, I'm a doctor. And how do you write a doctor? It is D-R, Democrat, Republican.
Very, very interesting. Yeah. I love it. I love this answer. Okay.
Education is very important for the AAPI community. There are some recent education trends can impact the AAPI community. For example, nationally, the Supreme Court's decisions of the Harvard admission case. And locally, Troy School District removed the AP classes. And I heard that might extend it to Novi and Northville areas too. What do you think about these recent trends?
Brilliant question. Really, it affects the hearts of immigrants. Because we, as I said earlier, we work 2 times or more harder. We achieve to get the results that we want. And so the Supreme Court was right in doing what it did, is to make the applications and the admissions to Harvard and other schools based on merit, not based on race or other reasons. So the one thing I want to do, and we talk about diversity and inclusion and equity, I would like to start the equity at the pre-kindergarten level. So if we have funds from the federal government that go to the inner city schools starting at kindergarten, have the resources, the good teachers, the good environment, so that these kids learn from an early age. So when they come out of high school, they should be no different than people coming from Troy, Birmingham, Bloomfield, or anything else. If you do that, you do not need anything to promote racial discrimination. So that is number 1. Number 2 is that the debt in our country for higher education is tremendous. And a lot of our kids do not become doctors or engineers because of the hospital debt. A lot of the kids from high school don't go into training schools for becoming well-educated. So my idea there is that we will give them to people to achieve their skills. But once they start earning, that debt will become their tax credit. So within 3 to 5 years, it will become debt free. And for the country, you don't lose money because then for 30, 35 years, you will be paying a higher tax rate because now you're making more money. So that will improve the country equation and with the education. Was there another part of that?
The Troy School.
I think it is not in the right direction to make equality, not have kids have the competitive edge, takes away the motivation of taking away a medal at the end of your work. If everybody is going to be mediocre, then we will have a mediocre nation. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody should be respected for what they are worth. But at the same time, if we want to continue the nation to be above the rest of the world, then the competitive edge needs to be there. Now maybe we can have special schools for our schools, and that may be a compromise because I understand why the honors was taken away. Because number 1, the immigrant kids, they are very, very attentive to just education, their studies. So it takes away the roundedness, the full roundedness of education. Education is not just studying your textbooks and doing the tests. You need to be playing on the playground. You need to be artistic. You need to have the cultural experience. So in order to get that, if those kids can do that, perform as well as those that only study, then you're also not getting a fully rounded population. Then you get kids that are excellent, but then you realize that in later life they are not able to cope with a lot of issues. So that is the reason they took them away. And I think one sort of compromise may be the kids that show a little more excellence in the special schools. So you have special schools for disabilities and special schools for geniuses. Makes sense?
Very well thought, please. I think we should get some questions for Mrs. Kumar. Thanks for your patience. I guess in your life, that's the role you play, being a supportive of this man. But I want to ask you, in your eyes, who is Dr. Kumar?
Well, I think Dr. Kumar is a very special man. He's somebody that I've known now for 39 years, yes. And he's somebody that I've really noticed since he started following politics a little bit more, which I would say 10 or 15 years, that he has found a passion for that. And not just a passion looking at it and complaining, but a passion of how can you fix those things? How can you do things? Why is that happening? And so as he comes in, even for this current campaign, he asked me before he started, is it okay if I try to do this? Because obviously it's going to take a lot of time. And with the passion he has and like a calling of this is what he feels, and you already have all his answers, seeing how important that is, that he can go out and know that he can make a difference. And hopefully being elected to Congress, but even without being elected to Congress, in the campaigns he's already done, he's already made a difference in getting so many more people involved, with people understanding his priorities, understanding how we have to work together to make this work. And it gets even more interesting.
But I want to ask you, running a political campaign, it's not a fun thing. I should say pain in the ass. I'm sorry to say that. But what drives you to support him, to run for politics? And another thing, another question together is, why do you think he would be the right person for this role?
Well, I think what drives me to support him is that I see where his passion is. And I see what he's trying to do. And what he says makes sense. He's not way out in that field saying these things that aren't going to really hit people. And we're in America. He has a chance to be a congressman, to be representing people, and to know what he's doing. And I think that's a marvelous thing. Now, I don't think I would want to be doing that, but it's okay for him to do that. And it is a lot of work.
If he is happy, you're happy.
That helps, yes.
And I think it's very good representation of looking at this is America should look like. Look at us, this is America should look like. Go ahead, please. Your turn.
We all know representation is important. So we need more AAPIs to be involved in the public service. However, most AAPI parents expect their kids to be into doctors, lawyers, engineers. So what are your advice to the younger generation about choosing public services as their careers?
A difficult question to answer because I'm also an immigrant parent, remember? So I'll say, yes, you need to become doctors, you need to become engineers, you need to do all that, and then like me go into politics. Yeah. Oh yes, that is true. That is very true. Because I was joking about that being the parent. But that is the difference between America and our countries that we came from. In our countries, we were all very, very narrow focused on just one career. In America, it's everything because we are a machinery with multiple moving parts. Everybody, you cannot run a car just by the engine alone. You need all the parts to be working together, and then you have a beautiful vehicle car in your hand. So this is the one country that gives us the opportunity to excel in anything and everything that we can do. So the answer to your question really is, children, this is America. Do whatever you want to do, but work hard, excel in that field, and do it for the work, for the people, not just yourself for making money. Because that is what makes communities, that is what makes societies. We live only a segment of a period of time. But if you work for communities, then you are creating civilizations. And America is the one civilization that has lasted 250 years as one of the best beacons of hope and life on earth. So that's my message to our children. Do what your heart desires, do it well, and for others to service to others. That's all.
Wow, inspiring. To be a well-rounded person, that's what it is. And you're talking about next generation, talk about who the next generation should be. And I was telling people, I said, why dragging the TV start program to cultivate the next generation in journalism? The reason we're doing that is not that we want them to be host like me, or to be a reporter, or to be producer, but it's to be a leadership and to good action and just be a well-rounded person. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Can I just say one more thing? Representation and the message to our immigrant communities. Please be involved in the political process because representation in America is the most important. And unless there's a cliche saying about if you are not on the table, you will be on the menu. And so let us not be hesitant. This is the one great country that will let you do what you can. So shed away your fears, shed away your reluctances. Go out, help the people who are running for elections. Run the election yourself and give the example and teach it to your children that part of your life should be for the electoral process. With that, we will continue to have an America that will continue to be great. With all immigrants to exempt the America we want, an amalgamation of all colors, cultures, and creeds. So that's my message.
Wow, very well said. That's what our program is about, to promote participation and engagement. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's very inspiring.
But thank you, but also thanks to our viewers. I want to say thank you for joining us today to kick off AAPI Heritage Month. Please subscribe to our channel for our future programs. Thank you. See you then. Thank you.
let me